So narcissists feel extremely empty on the inside. I'm going to break down exactly why they feel empty on the inside, even though they present this aggrandized sense of self, all of this amazing confidence. None of that really matters because they are empty on the inside and they constantly have a hole that no matter how much admiration, attention, love you give to them, it will never be enough. So hi, I am here to slay the narc one video at a time, as well as helping the victims recover. If you guys are interested in this type of topic, keep watching. So how is the narcissist empty? They seem like they're so perfect. They portray this amazing character. How are they empty on the inside? Well, if you look at the narcissism personality disorder, it's characterized by a pervasive pattern of grandiosity where they feel like they're very important, their sense of entitlement. They have a constant need for admiration from others, and they want you to pour into them and they want you to give them more, 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 more. Look at me. Look how great I am. Look at what I'm doing. But then when it comes back around to you, they won't return the favor. And that's because they lack empathy for others. So they feel as if your role is there to serve them, serve their emotional needs or whatever they need to get from you. And their role to you is because they're so great and because they're so amazing, you should just be happy that you're in their presence. And it's just interesting because they appear to be so confident and so self-assured on the outside. And this is because they have created and curated this perfect mask that they've gotten from maybe actors or celebrities that they really look up or that they think might be, great, and people that they've met along the way. They've curated this perfect person. And this mask is not real. It's not really who they are. It's not really internally who they are. So they're constantly having this internal battle with themselves, which creates this deep sense of emptiness and internal turmoil. The problem is when they have this false sense of self, there is a unsustainable self-image. At any time, the narcissist is very threatened and paranoid that someone might actually reveal who they truly are. And because of this paranoia and being easily threatened, this leads them to a fear of being exposed that they're less than perfect. They don't want to feel inadequate. They don't ever want to feel the feeling of being insecure. And this leads them to be very empty on the inside. Also, they are incapable of creating and cultivating deep relationships because, again, they only see you as a tool to be exploited and used for their betterment in life. They don't really see the need to develop any type of relationship with you. They don't really see you as important. They don't really see any value in you other than helping them. So why would they go deep and foster those deep relationships? As humans, we need deep connections with other humans, and they lack that. They have very, very shallow relationships, which ultimately leads them to feel isolated and unfulfilled. Another reason as to why they are so empty on the inside is because they constantly need other people to validate them. That is their fuel source. Without that, they wouldn't survive. They'd be sad and miserable, and lonely and sitting in the middle of their house just upset, right? So they need people. They rely on people to constantly pour into them, constantly tell them how great they are, constantly listen to their stories, constantly be their entertainment. They need that. And without it, they're nothing. I mean, they are something, you know what I'm saying, but to them, they are nothing. So they constantly need that admiration and praise to bolster their self-esteem because it's shaky. It's not real. It's a false sense of self. So with this emptiness, there are different cycles that occur within the emptiness. So the first cycle is the ideation and the evaluation stage. And this is something that they unfortunately suffer with a lot. They go through the cycle over and over again in relationships. So normally when the narcissist first meets someone, they're extremely excited because they've projected this idea upon them. they've given them this very unrealistic pedestal that they've plastered them onto. And so therefore you get this love bombing stage because they think you're pretty amazing. And then you finally do something that they realize you were not as perfect as their imagination told them, and their fantasy that they created of you no longer exists. And once that happens, their life, that is shattered and it doesn't go back. And because of that, they then start to discard you, and they then start to treat you in a really bad manner. And it becomes a perpetual discarding until you leave, or until they discard you. But they want nothing to do with you. They feel like they've been bamboozled because in their mind they've created this false sense of reality. And when they realize that you don't meet up to those expectations, they no longer want to be affiliated or have anything to do with you. And this leads to disappointment and dissatisfaction. And then they cycle through that cycle again with someone else, hoping that they can find this perfect anomaly of a human that has no faults or flaws. But again, the same thing happens, and they perpetuate this pattern over and over in all of their relationships. And that leads to a very deep sense of loneliness and emptiness. Another reason as to their emptiness and their loneliness are the internal conflicts that they go through on a daily basis. So beneath this grandiose facade, they struggle with this internal turmoil and self-doubt over and over and over again. They feel intense sense of shame and worthlessness. And this causes this pattern of emptiness that occurs over and over and over again. And this is despite how they present themselves on the outside. Another reason as to why they feel so empty on the inside is because they will never go inside of themselves and figure out, okay, I'm not perfect. What's wrong with me? I'm impacting all these other people in a negative way. How can I make it better? They will never ask those questions. They will never do the work. And because they lack the ability to want to do any type of introspection, they are in such, they are so defensive, and their defense mechanisms are always up, and they're in such a state of denial and projection that to even acknowledge any of their vulnerabilities is something that will never happen. And because of this, they have a deep sense of emptiness and alienation because they will never be able to change. And that is unfortunately extremely sad. And yeah, and so these are the reasons as to why the narcissist has a deep, deep sense of emptiness. And they're very, very empty people. If you guys want narcissistic coaching and you're a survivor, I will leave all that information in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video.